Hello, my lovelies. I'm Ginny O, the author with no last name. And today, I'm doing something I haven't done in over a year or two. I'm reviewing a book. TC Marti gave me a copy of his book Tarja Titan in exchange for a review. Now, as a fellow indie author and a development editor, I am a peer reviewer. What this means is that I approach my reviews as a reader, but I often use writer terms. This may or may not be helpful depending on how you feel about it. This is not meant to be an editorial review, even if I am using editorial sounding language. It's me, as a customer, going, this is why this did or didn't work for me as a reader, but in terms an author and other readers may understand. The goals of my reviews are always to answer the question, did I like this book and why? So, according to Amazon Summary, abused and neglected for nearly a decade, Tarja Titan always longed for a home. But she didn't anticipate the reception she'd receive upon her return to a world she thought only existed in fiction. For starters, everyone in elemental society knows her name, even if she has no recollection as to why. For another, she's going to a university to hone a rare supernatural ability or abilities she's never heard of. Everywhere Tarja goes, and everyone she speaks to, new secrets emerge, like the fact she was murdered as a child, and somehow here she is, alive and well as her new roommates. And this school has more secrets than Tarja could imagine. It has hidden rooms, quarters, and yeah, resident spirits love hanging out here, and they're not shy about sharing a few stories, even if her newly discovered godbrother is. This was pitched to me as Avatar: The Last Airbender meets the world of the Gateway. I'm going to pitch it to you as Harry Potter with a tiny dash of Atla and maybe Thor stuff from Marvel. Super heavy on Harry Potter. If you don't like comps like this, well, I don't either. They are for Amazon algorithms and not for readers. In this instance, I have to warn you, this is very heavily reliant on Harry Potter to sell the story. If you like Harry Potter and like the comfort of Harry Potter, then you will probably like this version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone with a sprinkle of Chamber of Secrets and a very small bit of Goblet of Fire. Now, let's answer the question, did I like it and why? This is sitting at a solid 3. This is a meh for me. First off, the summary up there doesn't really summarize the book. Let me try. Taken from an abusive home, Tarja is accepted into a magical celestial university where it turns out to the magical world she's a bit of a celebrity for something she can't remember, and might be downright horrifying. With her magical power being the type with the least amount of users in the world, she and her roommates need to band together to master it before someone, or someones, tries to take them out. If they can band together. One of them isn't happy about being in the same room. While everyone else might know what's going on, they can't be told without forgetting it. Tarja and her roommates have to find out the answers to the secrets themselves. Are the good guys the good guys? Are the bad guys really gone? Nothing is as it seems. Chosen One, prophecy, triumvirate of power, a target on her back because of her powers. Oh, and there were some scrolls being hidden on campus they need to defend. I guess? I do want to warn there is some heavier violence in the first few chapters and a couple kidnappings. If you don't really like violence against women, this might not be the book for you. I found it right on the borderline of my tolerance level. Okay, I have to do this differently than the way I usually do. If I was rating this book purely on world building, I would give it a 5. Because there was a good portion of really well done world building. I even liked the world building. 9 different magical powers, 5 different worlds, 2 or 3 factions. The paranormal spirits and ghosts were cool. The stuff that was done with the world building that was original was actually really decent and or well researched. And though if the physical aspects of the school was really that important as stated in the official summary, the school should have been a bit cooler. The setting was kind of meh given the official summary. A story though can't live off of world building, just like it can't live off of a setting. If I was rating this on story, I'd give it a 2. 2, because I have literally read this story before in Harry Potter, and it reads like a man writing a group of girls who doesn't really know anything about girls and what they do on their downtime. Up to and including a May-December 11-year gap romance with a professor and one of the mainish student characters, which has absolutely no development or good lead-up, other than he's hot and she's pretty. And the characters are going through with it even though it has been stated explicitly it's ethically wrong and he can lose his job. This type of author wish fulfillment, leave it out. Let the girl graduate first. Okay, that's your female author and reader PSA for this video, because it's skeevy. Yes, I am speaking from personal experience. Back to the review. There is a lot of telling in this story, and by telling I mean we are flat out told things. We are told about the different powers instead of being shown them by them being used. We're told history, and we're told about the different groups instead of having interesting scenes where we're shown how this is working. We're told about the characters. They aren't more than a couple of notes each. Tarja likes history and is goth. Fleur likes thrashball and is sporty. Shyla is shy and she doesn't like Asian girl. Maybe. Or Tarja. Dunno. She's never on screen. And Asian girl is Asian and pretty, and her dad used to be bad guy, but she's sweetness and light. I could go look up her name, and I'm not to prove the point that despite being the best friend, she is this forgettable. I think her name starts with K. Tarja, Fleur, and Shyla are out of the box enough names to at least stick in my head a bit, even if one of the 3 is named after a Nightwish star, and one of the others is named after another singer, I think. The sorority bully characters are bully characters. Oh, they're blonde and bullies and have powerful families. Do not a character set make. Yes, I just described a female Draco Malfoy. There are no real, good, concrete scenes of these characters interacting. Being shown they've got stuff in common outside of their powers. It's, oh, we're roommates, we're all skinny and pretty, and we're all friends now. Well, except Shyla, who is a bit overweight and shy, but she'll come around. This is not how it works, especially first year of when you get to college. Them caring about each other in all these danger scenes does not feel real or earned. I need goofy scenes at the cafeteria having lunch and stealing fries and gossiping about how difficult the teachers are, talking about important stuff as they clean the room, playing pranks on each other, setting up wardings and failing, picnics on the quad, and they aren't there. I will take gossip about guys, which we've got like one scene of at least, but it's over the professor character, and blah. And just like with Harry Potter, Tarja and the Asian female girl are blamed for everything going wrong without evidence, even though this is college and not middle school. Oh, and if my roommate was locking herself in a room, I wouldn't be waiting until December to find out why. Yikes. You can do some exposition, but honestly, I don't need to know that these 2 groups have been manipulating the world since ancient times, an in-depth history of all the leaders I can't keep track of because they have the same name followed by numbers. The important stuff, the stuff that should have been shown to us, like who our enemies are and actually making these girls do friendly college girl things together so we can feel they are a 3 to 4 girl band, gets left out in favor of history lessons. At least we sort of have a reason why magic exists, which is all I really needed to know for this book. Why does magic exist, and why are they trying to control/use this girl? Those are very simple answers. Plus, Tarja is seriously overpowered, and even though she's on the very beginning of her training, being the chosen one of the story, she's super special, and the if you use too much power you die thing isn't enough of a real limitation. And just because these characters can toss out a bunch of power and throw a punch doesn't make them strong female characters. Right now they sit firmly at cardboard flat. We never learn enough about Shyla to make us care about whatever is going on with her. They don't have wants, needs, or flaws. And they need wants, needs, and flaws. Tarja is the outsider character. She's lost her memory and she doesn't know anything, so she's learning stuff all over again. As is Floor, it turns out, who blocked her memory. There is a ton of exposition in the book, as we have to be told everything. And then we get towards the end, we have characters and stuff that was, despite all the history, never mentioned before, or interacted with these girls before. So this means there is absolutely no emotional impact about this ending. The issue here is, I don't think Tarja is the main character. She's more of a MacGuffin in this book than a person. She's little more than a plot device, being the chosen one in Jesus' allegory. Brandon is more the main character, the godbrother. And given Brandon knows more and has more training, he could actually change events. But he doesn't because we're locked into this Harry Potter plot. And while TC says we don't need to read the other books to understand this one, there is, I guess, a prequel coming out with Brandon, the godbrother, which might be important to give us the grounding we need for this book and make the ending a bit more satisfactory. The book is written as very plot-driven, with a bunch of world-building stuff that turns out to be not that important to what's going on with Tarja and Floor and Shyla and the love interest to the godbrothers, whose name I can't remember, because that plot line could be axed and the story would lose nothing. It's false conflict because the head guy knows and is doing nothing. TC has taken what is really a character-driven story, you must learn about yourself, which, like Chapter 1 with the ghost, could have had some really gripping flashback memory scenes, the one time you can use flashbacks effectively, and tried to turn it into a Harry Potter Book 1 plot-based narrative. Show me this girl getting her memory back, please, instead of telling me, oh, I'm getting flashes. There were too many trips to the library and newspaper clippings. Those aren't interesting or gripping. With Tarja being the main name on the book, I'd expect her to have some more ability to inflict change on what is happening. But despite the fact the Dumbledore equivalent fits, it's pointed out for using them as pawns, and some Prisoner of Azkaban type of we'll give you special training shenanigans are for a girl band never really do go on any type of character growth journey or make any sort of effective taking action, as they're kidnapped twice and the plot sort of happens to them. I'd love to say I'm surprised and shocked, but I'm not. It's Harry Potter in a new trappings. The plot is dragging this book down. The lack of meaningful character interaction that got axed or never written for pages and pages of history makes the book really flat. Now, the character voices of the chapters weren't that bad, which is what kept me from closing the program and kept me reading. There is potential in these character voices. I liked the idea of these characters. I just needed more of them. I get the book was under 60,000 words due to the I'm trying to put out a book every 3 months thing. It's okay to give yourself the 80,000 words if necessary. The plot didn't frustrate me because it was a Harry Potter plot, so I wasn't going, when does the story begin? The plot, though, didn't keep me turning pages. The character voices and the bits of decent world building did. And I do want to give TC credit for, outside of the May-December romance plotline, the violence against the girls never falls into that completely unnecessary and deeply uncomfortable or sexual territory. The first chapter does have some extreme violence towards Tarja. It felt authentic to a physically abusive home and family, though the heel face turn of the stepsisters again didn't feel earned or real. As for kidnappings, kidnappings as a plot device are very tricky to pull off well, and at least these happen far enough along we do care for the characters to a tiny degree. And if I'm reading the summary for book 2, not book 1.5, going on the same time as this one, there is another kidnapping. I get urban fantasy books can be obsessed with kidnappings, but as a plot device, this is overdone. I'm not fond of it, so I won't be reading the next book. So if I average, this would give it a solid 3.5, but it doesn't because of some grammar and tense issues. All of Tarja's chapters are in third-person past. All of Brandon's, the Godbrothers, chapters are in first person with a mangling of past and present tense. This just drags the book down as you're constantly flip-flopping between POVs and tenses. It just doesn't work that well. At the most, it was a good shorthand to know if I was in Tarja chapters or Brandon's chapters. I didn't overtly like this book, but I didn't hate it either. I can see it has strong potential on the world building and character voice end, if the author would trust his own original plots a bit more and develop his characters so he could develop some organic conflicts and stakes rather than shoehorning them in with already bad stereotypes from another author's work and choose a tense and point of view. The third-person past was much better written than the first-person present-past mashup. He could have a really good book, or 2 or 3 books down the line. If you're looking for something comforting that reminds you of Harry Potter down to the plot and character types, then this might be a good book to read on a day when you're sick and tired and just need that comfort read. Or you can go read Harry Potter again. Your choice. It hits a solid 3 for me. Once again, I'm a peer reviewer. If you've never read Harry Potter, or if you haven't read over 16 traditionally published urban fantasy authors like I have, and almost every single one of them has used kidnapping at some point, you might really enjoy this book. I would have enjoyed it a lot more if the characters had felt more fleshed out and I hadn't already seen the plot. 3 ginger snaps. I hope you either found this review useful in your reading selections, or learned something about writing, or maybe you just enjoyed hearing me go off. I don't know. So I do feel the need to give an obligatory shout out to my free writing guide, 16 Signs Your Book Isn't Ready to Be Self-Published, and Other Things You Should Know, available on my website as a PDF. It covers things like flat characters, kidnappings, betrayal, romances, and showing versus telling. Take care of yourselves, my lovelies. Stay safe, blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.